Welcome, everyone, to Key West Uncovered, the podcast where we highlight upcoming festivals and events, live entertainment, the latest news, and shine a spotlight on a top attraction or two. I'm your host and Key West Concierge, Claire. Let's get to it.
And I'm Brad, always ready for a good time in the southernmost city. Claire, I hopped off the ferry not too long ago, and the energy down here is pure electric. The second I saw those island vibes, those pastel paints, and the gorgeous water, I knew I'd made the right call spending my weekend here. What's the buzz around town today?
Let's just say the best is yet to come. January is one of my favorite times to be here because everyone's still riding that post-holiday high, but the parties just keep rolling. You get the Key West Literary Seminar, for instance, which draws a surprising crowd of big names. John Irving is expected to be here, which still makes me a little starstruck. You can catch him at the historic San Carlos Institute, diving into discussion panels, readings, and all sorts of riveting sessions. That mix of tropical breezes and great literature is such a unique slice of Key West culture.
Book readings by the beach sounds like my kind of scene. But I'm also hearing about a big sporting crowd in town. Saw some folks lugging around their running gear, and I'm itching for details on what's got them so fired up.
That'd be the Key West Half Marathon and Runfest. Runners come from all over to race right along the shoreline. Imagine jogging next to those turquoise waters. And the Southernmost Regatta is happening around the same time, which means top sailors cut through the waves, wind in their sails, and crowds cheering from the shore. Add in the Kelly McGillis Classic Flag Football Championship, which brings in a whole wave of players from across the country, and you can see why the island feels extra vibrant. But if you're more of a music lover, you'd be thrilled to check out Mile Zero Fest, all about Americana and roots tunes. Nothing like dancing outdoors in January while the rest of the world battles winter.
That's what I love about this place. Everyone's always celebrating something. The entertainment lineup alone makes it tough to decide where to go first. I saw a poster for Comedy Key West, something about Kevin Farley performing. Also saw mention of the Harrisons playing at Bangkok Happy Bowl Asian Bistro later tonight. So many choices. What's on your personal radar for live music or shows this evening?
That's the best part. There's something for every mood. If you're feeling comedic, Kevin Farley at Comedy Key West is a sure bet. He brings this casual, fun vibe that fits in perfectly with the local crowd. But if you're looking to embrace the quintessential Key West music scene, nothing beats a trip to the Green Parrot bar. They've got Deep Banana Black Belt showing up at multiple sets tonight, 5:30, 9, and 11. It's loud, it's lively, and it'll have you dancing, whether you plan to or not. Then there's Hank's Hair of the Dog Saloon, if you're a fan of open-air fun, dogs dozing around the edges, and a good band rolling on stage. They've got the Tan Hand Band at 5 and Noah Robertson at 9.
I love that name, the Tan Hand Band. I can guess they're all about beachy vibes and summertime riffs. This island's made for spontaneous musical adventures. I walked by Hog's Breath Saloon earlier, and I heard Elle Haley's voice echoing off the walls. Couldn't resist peeking in. Felt like a cozy living room with a big crowd that's been friends forever, if you know what I mean.
Hog's Breath is legendary for a reason. Day or night, there's always a fresh rotation of talent. Keep an eye out for Cliff Cody, too. He's one of those genuine country singer-songwriters who pours his heart into every lyric. I first caught him a few years back, and I've watched him evolve into this real local favorite. It's funny because he's traveled so widely, but he keeps coming back to Key West like it's part of his soul. There's something in the air here that inspires musicians. Maybe it's the sunsets or that unstoppable island spirit.
I heard about Cliff's story. Learned guitar, started writing songs, then headed to Nashville. That's not a small leap, but something about it is very Key West. You follow your passion, and the island embraces you. Reminds me of what Jimmy Buffett did back in the day, paying his dues right down the street at Captain Tony's Saloon, if I remember right.
Yes, indeed, Captain Tony's Saloon is an icon through and through. You can practically feel the stories in the walls. It's been everything from an ice house to a cigar factory and a telegraph station. Now it's a bar that's the stuff of legends, with signed dollar bills covering every inch of the place, a live tree growing right in the middle, and folks belting out sea shanties or strumming guitars. The energy is raw, and the history is tangible, especially when you look at that little corner stage imagining Jimmy Buffett's earliest sets there.
I can almost hear the hum of a distant guitar right now. But let's talk about fueling up between sets and strolls. I'm starved. Spotted fresh lobsters on ice by the seaport earlier. Any insider suggestions on where to devour some good seafood?
There's a reason everyone's always raving about A&B Lobster House right on Front Street. You get a seat overlooking the harbor, watch the yachts drift by, and indulge in some of the freshest seafood around. The Florida lobster thermidor is incredible. Think succulent chunks of lobster in a rich, creamy sauce, baked to golden perfection. If you're more of a steak person, they do a remarkable filet mignon too. They've been a Key West staple for ages, hosting everyone from sea captains to actors and everyone in between. It feels like stepping into a piece of living history, with that warm, polished wood interior and the hum of conversation that's never too loud to drown out the sound of waves.
I love a good story behind my meal, and it sounds like A&B Lobster House has endless tales to tell. What about those who want to get an adrenaline rush before settling down to a fancy dinner? I'm thinking parasailing or maybe some wave runner madness along the coast. Any must-try spots for water activities these days?
For a quick and easy day of fun in the sun, I always send people to Smathers Beach. It's got a bit of everything. Clear, shallow water for wading or snorkeling, beach volleyball for friendly competitions, and equipment rentals if you're craving a jet ski ride. It's a public beach, the largest around here, so there's a lively vibe with kids building sandcastles and older folks reading books under palm trees. You can grab a snack or rent a chair from the little vendors who line the shore. And, fun fact, that's where Diana Nyad finished her historic swim from Cuba to Florida. Even with all the commotion, there's a sense of Key West magic in the breeze that keeps you grounded in the moment.
That's right. I remember watching footage of her stumbling onto the sand, crowds cheering. Gotta love a place where big dreams come true right on the shoreline. I'll add Smathers Beach to my itinerary. After all that sun, though, I'm thinking I might want to lounge in a plush hotel suite. Any suggestions on that front?
Casa Marina Resort Key West checks all the boxes if you crave historic glamour combined with modern touches. There's a sense of old Key West charm running through its hallways, but it's got this crisp, vibrant energy. The private beach is a dream. Palm trees casting gentle shade, lounge chairs right near the water's edge, and staff that appear with a frosty beverage the moment you want it. The property's got some amazing culinary options, too. Dorada is this gorgeous beachfront spot with fresh seafood and imaginative dishes. I had the most incredible grilled fish tacos there once. You can also start your morning at Flagler's Restaurant in this lovely old ballroom. I feel like I time traveled to a more romantic era whenever I step in.
That sounds exactly like the sort of pampering I could get used to. There's nothing quite like waking up to a beach sunrise, and then maybe going for a walk down Duval Street before the day heats up. After all, you never know what you'll find. You've got Irish Kevins for daytime sing-alongs, plus little bistros and shops everywhere.
Speaking of shops, if your sweet tooth acts up, you cannot miss Kermit's Key Lime Shop. I always tell people that if they haven't tried the key lime pie at Kermit's, did they really visit Key West? It's zesty, tangy, sweet, everything you want in a single bite of sunshine. The vibe there is so fun, too, because you see Kermit's bright green facade, and you know you've arrived somewhere special. They carry all sorts of key lime goodies, pies, cookies, candies, sauces, and even bath products. I once bought a friend a key lime scented lotion, and she swore it transported her to the islands whenever she opened the bottle.
I'm probably going to buy out half the store. Nothing says vacation souvenir like a jar of something deliciously tangy. Then again, I also might indulge in a swirl of key lime ice cream. Only in Key West would I eat dessert before noon and not feel an ounce of guilt about it.
Exactly. Calories don't count when you're living on island time. That's one of our local mottos. But be sure to pace yourself. There's always a new festival or street fair around the corner. February's Seafood Festival is a gem, the Florida Keys Seafood Festival. Loads of local fishermen set up their stalls, and you can sample conch fritters, spiny lobster, pink shrimp, all while a local band plays some easy listening tunes.
Something tells me that if I showed up at that festival, I'd never want to leave. And not just because of the lobster. It's those laid-back folks dancing in sandals, kids with faces painted, everyone just enjoying life. I've got to stick around for at least a few more days to see what's going on in the coming weeks.
Hang around a little longer and you might stumble right into March's conch shell blowing contest. Ever try to make music from a conch shell, Brad?
I tried once. It sounded like an elephant sneezing underwater. But I'm sure I'd improve with practice. The idea of seeing everyone gather for a silly competition like that is exactly why I love Key West. It's that sense of fun in the simplest things.
That's why so many folks are drawn here year after year. The festivals get a bit wild sometimes, but they're also deeply rooted in local tradition. Whether it's the Conch Republic Independence Celebration in April or the Underwater Music Festival in July, there's always something that feels both out of this world and yet completely natural in the Keys. I remember stumbling onto the Key Lime Festival one July, and I swear I tasted key lime in everything from margaritas to hot sauce. It was pure heaven.
Underwater Music Festival? You can't just drop that little fact without elaborating. Are we talking scuba divers having a jam session beneath the waves?
Yes, it's a surreal experience. Speakers are lowered beneath the water, playing tunes for snorkelers and divers. You float, fish swim by, and it's like a giant eco-conscious disco in the ocean. Part of it is about marine conservation, reminding us that the reef is fragile and needs our love. Where else can you jam out with the fish while supporting a good cause?
It's official. I need to clear my calendar for the entire year. There's not a dull moment, is there? I'm having trouble picturing this place in December, though. Winter wonderland in Florida? Sounds like a contradiction, but I guess Key West always does things its own way.
In December, we get decked out in holiday lights, boat parades, and quirky drops at New Year's. Everything from conch shells to a big high heel. We don't have snow, but we sure make up for it in imagination. And that's Key West in a nutshell. Come as you are, add a little sparkle, and you're ready to celebrate.
I can see why so many people mark Key West as a bucket list destination. My guess is all these festivities and vibrant nightlife can be a bit overwhelming if you don't know where to look. But that's why you're here, to point us in the right direction. I'm really feeling a cruise around town on a bike or maybe a guided tour. That's always a fun way to see the island up close. Then in the evening, I might just settle down at Kiki's Sandbar or Mac's Place Tiki Bar for a quick chill, hear some local tunes, and let the breeze do the rest.
And the breeze is key. Part of the fun is letting each day unfold organically. Maybe you'll stumble onto an impromptu jam session on a porch somewhere, or join a group of costumed revelers heading to a pop-up parade. In Key West, that spontaneous spirit is encouraged, and the next time you visit, you never know what new festival or party might be happening. We keep people on their toes, or flip-flops, I should say.
This conversation alone has convinced me I'll need at least 2 wardrobes. One for wacky festival costumes and one for lounge-by-the-pool resort wear. Also, I'm getting the feeling I'll need to watch a few extra comedic sets and live bands just to say I've gotten the real Key West sampler. Nothing beats that easy camaraderie you find at every corner bar.
It's part of the local charm. And if you need a break from the music and parties, you can always wake up early, stroll along Smathers Beach before the crowds roll in, and just listen to the quiet lapping of the waves. Grab a coffee at your hotel or a local cafe, watch a pastel sunrise, and let the day come to you. Next thing you know, you're diving into a brand new festival or deciding on a whim that you want to watch the drag races during the Conch Republic Independence Celebration. Nobody's judging. Everyone's just living.
That's what I'm talking about. I might need a quick midday siesta, though, because the nights here keep going in the best way possible. Even last night, I ended up at Sloppy Joe's at like 1 a.m., still seeing new faces drift in. I love that sense of camaraderie and laid-back acceptance. No one's a stranger for long.
Sloppy Joe's is classic. That's where Hemingway used to hang out, though it was originally Captain Tony's, as you know. The heart of Key West living, enjoying good company, trading stories over a drink, letting the tropical breezes weave through your hair. Around here, that's normal. being up late is just as fun as being up early. If you need a break, wander to the quieter pockets of the island, maybe spend time near the southernmost point buoy for a snapshot. Or pick up a conch shell keepsake from a local vendor. It's all part of that tapestry of experience.
Speaking of keepsakes, I'm definitely grabbing a souvenir or two from Kermit's Key Lime shop, and maybe a t-shirt from Captain Tony's Saloon. It's almost a rite of passage. Then I'll probably end the night with a waterfront walk on Mallory Square, catching the swirl of street performers and that glorious sunset. Just thinking about it gives me chills, in a good way.
I'll join you for that. There's nothing like the Mallory Square sunset celebration. Jugglers, magicians, local artisans, everyone's out to entertain. I've lost track of how many times I've seen the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in pink, orange, and purple, while the crowd erupts in applause. It's pure Key West, a daily tradition that never loses its magic.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, folks, see you in paradise.
This has been KeyWestTourist.com's Key West Uncovered, your guide to the heartbeat of paradise. From sunsets to schooners and festivals to flavor-packed feasts, we've loved sharing the magic of the Keys with you. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review to keep the island vibes going. Until next time, keep exploring, keep relaxing, and above all, keep embracing the spirit of Key West.